Thank you, Doug.
Winnie, it won't let me log in. It says my email's invalid.
Oh,
Do you use forwarding on it and maybe using a different address?
I only have the one that I use.
well, let me,
And Dennis didn't vote, so, because he's not here, so I know he didn't use it.
okay. I'm just going to reduce so I can look at the other.
Well, it's 7 o'clock.
Hold on just a moment, Will. Penelope,
Yeah,
DMISHNE, the numeral 1 at gmail.com.
oh, that's Dennis's email, and he doesn't,
Use it. Use it.
I will, but you need to change that because
What should
that's
it
not the
be?
one I use.
Well, that's the one that came through. What should it be? P and
It should be DP Mishne
gotcha.
at 6506.
And what?
At 6506. DP Mishne 6506 at Gmail.
Okay, thank you. All right, that gets us there.
Yeah, that's Dennis's. I don't use his.
Okay, I want to go back to full screen. Why won't it let me do this?
Operator malfunction.
Thought I could just expand it again. Well, maybe I'm going to have to sign out. No, that's not what I want to do.
Looks like it's in the top right where it says view. I think you can go to full screen.
How's Chris Cree doing?
Doing all right, staying busy,
Beats the
Yep.
alternative.
playing,
Any
got plenty of
swarms?
bees.
Getting swarms?
Haven't had a swarm call in a few weeks, but I'm pretty happy with the numbers I have. I got all my mating nukes and everything to keep up with, so I got enough. Happy with the swarms I got early.
Good, super. Let us call the meeting to order. And let me start off by saying that there is a good chance that we will have a July meeting at Franklin Park Conservatory. I submitted the application yesterday and waiting for a response. And with luck, we'll have a meeting in July, and we will also have the advanced bee art out there as well. So, Winnie, have you gotten any word from OSU as far as being allowed to have our meetings out there at the bee yard?
I haven't talked about it because, no, I believe they will allow us to be there, but I'm still concerned about being too close. But it's not my call only.
Okay. Folks had lots of swarms this year, swarm calls. Anybody interested in swarms? If you're interested in getting involved in swarms, feel free to contact me. I'm Will Merrill, if you don't know. It's really, I got into beekeeping, I don't know, 9-10 years ago. And I had two mentors, Mike Albaugh and Dan Wampler. And between the two of them, they taught a whole bunch about swarms and cutouts. And it has been really rewarding in more ways than one. Gives me the opportunity to kind of educate folks on beekeeping and bees and things in general. And I've not had any regrets. I've gotten into the cutouts as well, and it has presented tremendous opportunities and some income. We have had a number of our members and non-members have actually gone out and done swarm collections and have generated some income for COBA. One of them did a swarm collection at a veterinary clinic in south end of Columbus. And the folks were so pleased. They asked the fella if he'd take some money for it. And he said, no, why don't you make a contribution to COBA? And by golly, they've given us enough money that we have, the board voted Monday night to name another scholarship for next year in the name of the donor. So just great, just great. And the fellow who did the work, did the rescue of the bees, hadn't purchased his membership for COBA this year. And it was moved at the meeting, the board meeting Monday night. And we've honored him with a membership for 2021. So anyway, good things happen to good people, and we really appreciate it. And it helps us, and it helps the scholarship and other things. So anyway, Penelope, are you ready to do your presentation tonight for us?
Yeah. Winnie, I sent you the slides, so I don't know if you want to share them when we're ready.
They're on, I didn't realize that, so.
I just sent them by email just a little bit ago. Okay, so we have two scholarship students that are going to present tonight. They are students from last year, and for various reasons, we usually present in April, I think it is, but for various reasons we had to postpone that. So now we're up and running again. So we have Gamal from Texas. He's going to present first, a little bit about him. He received a scholarship last year, got his hive all set up, and then toward the end of the summer, they moved to Texas. So he packed up his beehive and away he went. So he's going to tell us how his bees are doing from Texas.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Oh,
You have to unmute, honey. There you go.
How do I do the screen share thing? That's your job.
No, they already.
No, yeah.
They should have it.
When he's going to present your screen.
maybe. Okay, now just a minute. We'll see what happens. Doug, I may need help.
Oh. How do I do the screen share?
Okay, now share
He's gonna
screen.
do it. You don't need to worry about it, Gamal.
Oh, they
We've
have
got
the
it.
slides.
Oh, here. Here's what I want to share.
I kind of
Share.
like just slides and know what I'm talking about.
Here.
Give him a minute. There it
All right,
comes.
here we go. Here we
You
go.
got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bees through the winter?
Yep.
Okay. You can see this on your screen?
Yeah, I can.
Penelope, can you see it on your?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so,
Uh,
nothing like learning on the fly.
You'll probably have to tell her when to change the slides, Gamal.
okay.
You can go ahead.
Okay.
Hello. I am your personal entertainment device for the beekeepers meeting because you were very bored and have no other options. Also known as Gamal Hussein, number 5652.8. Through January,
Wait a minute,
I took
Kamal.
off.
Are these just words or are there supposed to be pictures with these words?
I think some of them have pictures, but most of them just have words because
Okay,
we
I
couldn't find
just
pictures.
wanted to be sure. Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. In January, I took off the feeder and put newspaper in the top to help with humidity because it was getting a little hot and there was some rain, so humidity would just not be good. Change slide, please. Not much happened in February, to be honest. Oh yeah, except Texas players unlocked the ability that was thought to be exclusive to Russia, aka polar wind. A lot of our bees died. When the cleansing flight happened, there were so many bee corpses. It was horrible. Next slide, please. March, tons of activities. When you walked outside, you were just hearing buzzing. It was crazy. Tons of activity. So me and her thought it would be a good idea. Plunk the super on. Next slide, please. In April, the super was kind of abandoned, and when I say kind of, I mean like really, really abandoned. Nothing happened. There wasn't even wax drawn out. No honey, no babies, nothing. So I took it off. Through the spring and kind of summer, May, I took some honey out because I wanted to take honey out because I like honey. We were plucking out the little babies because you don't want to eat little baby bees with your honey because that's weird. So I grabbed some tweezers and started plucking. In some of the drones, the male bees, there was some varroa. And that freaked me out. So we treated the hive. And in June, it started heating up because Texas was doing a Texas. And the hive had the beard every single day. Because, like when the bees are on the outside.
What's the temperature there, Gamal?
Like 95. It was ridiculous. Texas is doing a Texas. Next slide, please. So, the big ocean wave lines in the middle represent the average. And you see that little red line at the bottom? That's what we had. We had -4 because Texas did a Russia. Polar wind. not great. So, next slide. Thank you. Thank you for listening to your personal entertainment device for a solid 5.5 minutes. Goodbye. I will deactivate now.
Thanks, Gamal.
Do you have
Well,
any?
wait a minute. Does anybody have any questions for him?
Hey, Gamal Med Buttmerding. Texas is pretty well known for its wildflower fields. Are you around an area that has a lot of the wildflowers in their meadows? And did you notice a lot of foraging going on there with bees?
Yeah, there was a lot of foraging going on. And we do have wildflowers. Yes, there are some really, really pretty wildflowers. And there were, when you looked in the comb, there were tons of different colors of pollen. There was purple pollen, there was pink pollen, there was red pollen, all the colors of pollen. Everyone is here, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, I did notice a lot of foraging. Any other questions?
You may have said this before. Where in Texas are you living?
Around Caddo Mills, Greenville area, but those aren't major cities. So we're about an hour from Dallas,
North, south, east, or west?
Northeast.
Northeast.
Okay, thank you.
Kamal, this is Linda Stofrock, and the question I have for you is in February when you lost some bees, so did you have enough hive, and have you had to do a split then in the spring once you said that they were doing much better?
What's the question?
In February, you said you had a lot of dead bees. Did you totally lose a hive, or you had enough still?
No,
in the
we didn't
spring?
lose the hive. No. we
Okay,
didn't.
okay. And then the second question is, have you had to do a split? We're having a lot of swarms up here in Ohio, and I was just wondering if you're having that, and if you had to do a split.
Well, I have two theories for a thing that I forgot to mention in the slideshow. There were some honeycomb caps that were shaped like peanuts. And I'm pretty sure that means there are some queens. Now, either in the polar wind, the queen died and they gave some new ones royal jelly, or there's about to be a split, which I am not prepared for at all, and I'm kind of freaking out right now. But, yep. If there are no more questions, I will deactivate, power down, and let the next scholarship speak.
Anybody else have any questions for him?
Yes, I have one.
Yeah.
Gamal, have you noticed many swarms in your area?
Not in my area, but when I went back up to Ohio for to visit my family back up in Ohio, there was a huge swarm of bees just kind of passing by. Everyone freaked out. There was a lot of
So did you
panicking.
catch it? Did you catch it?
No, we didn't have the equipment. We were just there for a holiday. The most bee catching equipment we had was a cake.
Hey, anything else?
This is Barb, and I apologize, I missed some of your talk. But my obvious question is, have you had any dealings with Africanized bees? Because you're certainly in the area for it.
No. No, we haven't had that.
Just be really careful if you get a swarm call. Because they could be Africanized and they're not nice to deal with.
If I miss when the swarm breaks off, are there any like residual signs other than the massive population decrease?
If you go to collect a swarm, you may not know that they have a mean temper until you try to collect them.
Yeah, we're not doing swarm collecting. What I
Okay.
was saying is, I was asking a question. If my hive splits in two, will there be any residual change that I can check for in case I miss it? Other than the massive decrease in population, obviously.
Okay. Oh, I understand. I'm sorry. So if you have 3 or 4 swarms or more from it, so it doesn't really split in two. But yeah, if you're, so what happens if you're, so your old queen leaves with the first swarm, and then you'll have multiple new queens emerge. And those queens are going to go out and mate with whatever drones are in the area. And those could be, they could encounter some mean drones. So there's no real good way of telling except that the temperament's going to be different.
Mm.
So I'm glad you're not collecting swarms.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to power down now.
Okay, thanks, Kamal.
Thank you.
And good luck with your beekeeping.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Natasha Shemp, and I will let her fill you in on her experience. And Natasha, you want to give them some background as to what happened last summer, and then go into how things are going now.
So basically I got my bees last April, and they were doing really good until about August, when wax moths, which I didn't know were that much of a problem, like pretty much destroyed the whole thing in like 2 weeks. So like basically the space of like a check. So I was really surprised, and sadly I lost the hive. So I don't have anything to present about over the winter. But this late April, I got a swarm from Miss Mishni, and I brought it home and tried to install it into my hive. And it was like a new experience for me because the queen wasn't separate, so I wasn't sure if I had gotten her in there or not. So the first time I added her into the box, I wasn't sure if she was in there, so I closed it up, and it turns out the bees had all left the hive because the queen wasn't in there, but thankfully the queen was still in the box. The swarm came in. So the next day I added her back in, so I got all the bees to stay. So that was a successful installation. So it was quite stressful since it was new to me, but I eventually got through it. Basically for my checks, I have my 3rd box on now, so it's filling up pretty quickly, which is all good. I do have some mite problems, but I'm going to make sure to treat them soon. So that's basically all that happened for me, but I'm pretty good so far.
Winnie, can you share her slides?
Okay, just a moment.
So just some background. Natasha, when you got that swarm from me, the queen was in there.
Yeah.
The bees don't go into the box on their own if the queen's not there. So who knows what happened between, maybe she just decided she didn't like your hive and she left with them. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait a minute. Share screen. So I should just be able to click on that center button.
Hello, everyone. This is my presentation. Hello, my name is Natasha Shimp. This is my presentation about my new bees. I started my first beehive in 2020, but due to the wax moth infestation, they died. I received a new source of bees in April of this year. We were a captured swarm for a wonderful bee. In late April, I got a message from Mrs. Mishni that she had a swarm I could have. We brought it home and I tried to install the swarm into my hive. At first, I shook all the bees into the hive and wasn't sure if I had gotten the queen in, but I closed up the hive for the night. The next day, it turned out the queen was still in the box, so I made sure to get almost all the bees in the hive and out of the feeder and closed it up. That time, the bees stayed in the hive. I did my first check set 5 days after installation, and the bees had filled up 90% of the hive already, which is very fast, so I was quite surprised. So I added on the second box on. I added more sugar solution to the feeder and kept it on. There was new breathing honey. I checked again after 2 weeks, and the second box is full as well. I added more sugar solution and added the third box. For a lot of new brooding honey, they seem to be doing well. After 2 weeks, I checked again, and the third box is filled about 30%. I refilled the feeder, but didn't add the super. There were several queens still in the house, so we were probably wanting to swarm. There is also visible mite group in the stem of the comb, which was a big indicator that they were mites. I also did the burrow mite check, and there were 4 mites, so I'll have to start treating them soon. I contacted my mentor for help, and then I will address the issues. Other than that, the hive looked good with new breeding honey. Over this year, I have installed my bees and did 3 hive checks. There are currently 3 boxes on my hive, as well as the feeder. The bees seem to be doing well, and I will start treating the mites soon. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Okay, I've got a question, and that is, how long since you did the mite check? When did you get your mite treatment? And when you're planning to treat?
So I did my check on Sunday, so like 4 days ago. And I just contacted my mentor about like what procedures I would take to do mite treatment, because it's the first time I've had to deal with it. And I'm going to be ordering them like probably today or tomorrow, so then I'll treat it then.
Okay, okay. I just didn't want you waiting weeks and weeks to get that stuff in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What did you decide to use?
Quick strips, mite away quick strips.
Okay, so be careful because it may be hot tomorrow.
Yeah.
So watch the temperature.
There's a temperature range on that stuff.
Natasha Medlutmerding, after you had the hive moth infestation, were you able to salvage any drawn out frames, or were the bees starting from scratch?
They started from scratch because the wax moths had encased stuff in their cocoon stuff. It was kind of like webbing. It was basically the whole hive, so I kind of just had to take it all out, and there wasn't much I could do.
Thanks.
How do you treat for wax moths?
Right now, since the wax moth had destroyed my hive, I just cleaned it out.
We lose you, Natasha, we lose your volume.
Oh.
Try again. No. Just lost your voice.
On your computer, the volume up in the upper tabs, make it louder, see if that helps.
Is it working? Yes, no.
Keep it going. You're doing the right direction.
Is it good now?
Oh, that's much better than it has been.
Sorry. Okay. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, so they destroyed most of the comb?
Yes, so it was pretty much destroyed, so I didn't have to treat it then. But since I'm more aware of the situation now, I got it's called a wax moth trap, and it's just basically a bottle with a hole in it that you put vinegar, sugar, and a banana peel for some in it, and
You keep going in and out.
She's been having some internet issues, so that could probably be the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Can you hear me or? Yes, okay. So basically it's just a bottle with a solution with vinegar, sugar, and a banana peel that attracts the wax moths into it if there are any, so it keeps them out of the hive. So this year I haven't had any problem with them in my hive, but that's pretty much what I do to treat them.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Natasha?
Yeah, this is Steve Thompson. Would last year, would she have been able to freeze those frames and reuse them this year?
Not really, because they were more destroyed and it was more of like just covered in like old larvae, so it would have not been in like the cocoon casing. It's kind of like a webbing. It was really weird. So it would have not really been like, I guess, the best choice, because they would have had to like spend more time cleaning it out or so than they would to like just make new. Oh,
Do you like the fish?
Yes.
They're great for bait.
Yeah, I fed them to my chickens. Yeah, my chickens love them.
Once you get all the wax pulled out, all that webbing and mess, you can reuse the frame, because assuming it's a wooden frame.
Yeah.
Frame. So that part can be reused, but no, I understand about not wanting to mess with or make them do all that work. Because the bees can't get that silk webbing out. And it's running along the wall, parallel to the foundation wall. I've played with it. I've had my fun with wax moths years ago.
You know, if you need to just try and really keep your hive really strong, because they won't let the wax moths take over if the hive is strong. So yeah, just could keep your bees real healthy and keep them a lot of bees in the hive.
Thank you.
Yeah, her hive it went down really fast. We're not quite sure exactly why, but yeah, it happened really fast. Okay, anything else for Natasha?
No, good work.
Natasha, do you have any questions for us?
Not that I can think of, but thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we'll be hearing from our 4 scholarship students this year in, is it September?
I think so.
Anyway, late summer, early fall, you'll be hearing from our 4 scholarship students for this year. Okay.
Bill McDonald, did you have something you wanted to share?
Wait till I unmute myself. Oh, there you go. No, I've been very busy with things, and my bees have been neglected, I'm afraid. So yeah, they made it through the winter, and I don't know how they're doing right now. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you all for being here.
Will, is there anything more that we need to do?
Not specifically. We will be announcing the July meetings, and looks like the Constitution is passed.
Yes, we've had 45 votes. That's great.
Yep. So Med, are you prepared to set up the meetings for the future? The presentations and the speakers?
Is that in the Constitution?
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
It might be a group effort, but we'll forge on here.
The other thing is Franklin Park Conservatory is having their pollinator palooza this Saturday, 11 to 3. If you're interested in helping out, come on down. Send me a text, call me, text me, whatever. Let me know if you're coming, an approximate time. If anybody has a tent that we could borrow to set up, we'd appreciate it. I don't think Franklin Park has enough tents to run around for everybody. And I don't have one, but
Do you mean a canopy?
a canopy and maybe some sides if we need to. It's supposed to rain Saturday.
There is some in the loft at the bee yard.
Oh, okay.
They belong to Coba. I think there's 3.
Fantastic.
It's what we use down at Lithopolis.
Well, we'll change things with Franklin Park and take some down there, 1 or 2 down there. Thanks, Winnie. I appreciate that. Live and learn. Anybody
Yeah,
have
you
any
just wanna put
questions,
them up there,
comments?
That's how you forget about them.
Say
Yeah,
again,
I have
Winnie?
a question.
Wait a minute.
I've found today super seeder cells, 4 or 5 of them. Okay, now what am I supposed to do? I just sit back and enjoy the ride? I'm just wondering, how do I read this, and is there any action I should be taking or not be taking?
Do you have equipment like a nuke that's empty that you can set it and a couple frames into and just let things go?
No. Are you saying I need that?
Are they capped queen cells? Or just growing?
No,
They're capped and ready to hatch.
Okay. Part of it depends on what your goals are for the number of hives in your apiary. If you want to increase, this is an opportunity to do that. And even if you're just using a cardboard nuke box, to put that particular frame or frames into the, no, you need to pull the frame with the queen, the original queen. And a couple of other frames, at least one of brood and one of honey, and put it in a totally separate box. And then that will stop the swarming because you've done an artificial swarm, a controlled swarm. You've taken her away. You've taken a couple of frames of bees and brood and the bees that are on that away. And then just let things ride in the original hive. But you have to have a place to put it in.
I have to have
No.
a place to put the queen.
The queen,
And
you need
the
at least 3
frame with
frames
the
that
honey.
need to go in it. Now, you're close to Med, is that correct?
Correct.
Med knows how to get in the shed. In the back loft, in the shed, is all the parts to make one of the wax-coated cardboard nukes. So if Med will help you with that, you can send me $10 to pay for the nuke, or you can just give it back later on. Okay?
If I just sit back and let things ride, what's going to happen?
All those cells are going to hatch, or at least one of them is going to hatch first, and it's going to go and stab the others in the side to kill them.
Oh, wow.
If 2 of them come out at the same time or relatively close, they will have a battle. The winner gets all. After a couple of days, this virgin queen will start flying out to mate, and she will come back every night, and eventually she'll start laying. Because you still have your original queen, if she never makes it back, you can just combine everything back together. That's the worst scenario. But you've not lost, the queen has not flown away. You took her away and kept her safe.
Okay, so if I don't take the queen that's currently there away and the supersedure cells produce the new queens and they fight it out, those new queens, but I still have the same queen, I haven't touched anything, then they're going to fly out, they're going to get mated and they're going to come back. And then what happens to the old queen?
The old queen is going to leave before those supersedures hatch.
Oh, wow.
That's why I say you need to do that like tomorrow morning. And because you're close to Waterman Farm, you have access to equipment. That's that cardboard nuke. Mike Hatter has overwintered a nuke in a cardboard nuke with a piece of something over the top so that rain and snow didn't get in. So it's a sturdy container.
Okay.
And
There
that
are-
knows how to get in.
There are many philosophies to how to deal with it. We always try when we see we have those cells in our hive, we always try to do a split. However, like this year, we could not find the queen. No matter how hard we looked, we could not find the queen. So can't find the queen, you can't do a split. So we just let it go. We ended up having 2 swarms from our hives that we caught then after they flew up into the trees or the bush or our garage into old frames. And so they requeened themselves. And they're all doing fine now. So some people, I mean, there are a lot of different ways you can handle it. Like the ideal way is to do a split. But if you can't do a split, you can just let it go and let them requeen themselves, or get a new queen and put in, or there's lots of ways to handle it.
So what's the possibility that hive has already swarmed and they're just waiting for those new queens to hatch?
That's very probable.
No.
You always want to double check to see if you have eggs or larvae in the hive before you go squishing. I had one hive. I went squishing swarm cells, and then they'd already left, or there wasn't a queen for whatever reason, and I didn't have a queen anymore. So it happened. I thought they hadn't left yet, but apparently they had. There's just that many bees in the hive.
We have some thought that's perhaps that hive already swarmed, but that I have to talk to Mark about that. So.
Well, and the fact that those queen cells are already capped, to me says the original queen has already left with half the hive. Because I think she would be pulling out before the other cells get capped, when it's only halfway.
Yeah.
Where was I when this happened?
It only takes 16 days to go from egg to an emerging queen. That's why you get in every 10 days. Maximum.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What does the brood pattern look like? I mean, are they trying to replace her? Is she starting to fail, or do you still have a good brood pattern? Because maybe you want a new queen to replace her.
I thought the brood pattern, I'll let Med give his more experienced eye express it, but I thought the brood pattern looked pretty good.
Yeah, we really saw a good brood pattern. We saw larvae capped, a lot of capped brood and some fairly young larvae. And we actually took a picture and were able to see a couple eggs in that one corner. So.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you never know what these ladies have in mind.
Yeah, I think from what I'm hearing, I think it might be a little risky to try to do a split.
Okay.
You know, and just sounds like we've got 5 young queens that will be emerging or doing their thing.
Are they all in the same frame?
2 frames, weren't they, Mark?
Right, there were 2 frames. 3 were on one and 2 on something else.
Okay, so you could separate the frames out into 2 different boxes
Oh, yeah.
and have 2 hives ultimately with new queens.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
And you don't have to go down to Conrad's if you want to just do that cardboard split, the cardboard nuke.
Well, I have my original nuke that the plastic one that they came in from.
Okay.
Dan's place.
Use that. You didn't trash it, so use it.
Yep.
Okay.
It's always good to have those around.
And you say the sooner the better.
Yeah. Because then you know what's happening. You take one of those frames and set it in your plastic nuke box with some other frames, and you don't have to worry about, unlike, you may get the joy of watching them emerge, but you know they're safe. They're not going to be battling each other. One person's not going to take out the other 4. One's going to take out 2, and the other one's going to take out 1. So you still have 2 young, new, vital queens.
Well, I've never seen the queen. Even when it was installed, never saw the queen. But obviously, it just made an assumption on all the good brooding that was going on that that there was a queen there. And there's bees continuing to bring in pollen today. I mean, population looked pretty good, but okay.
We look forward to a report next month.
Oh my God.
Sounds like a project, Mark.
Oh my God.
The pressure's on, Mark.
The pressure's on.
Does he get a scholarship to go with that?
Yeah. Let's.
He pays for it.
He gets another hive tool.
Oh, yeah. I still have 5 from the last time.
You can never have too many hive tools. I've got them scattered all over the house because I've got frames all over the house.
Not the old type of hive tools that I got at the last raffle we had.
Oh.
Okay.
Any other questions? Looking for some helpers for Saturday. Feel free to volunteer. Call me, text me, and appreciate it.
Will, what time does that event start?
Starts at 11.
Okay.
11 to 3, and you can stop in anytime you want to, but just let me know what time.
All right.
You know our location yet, Will?
Sir?
Do you know the exact location for your booth?
Probably at the advanced bee yard.
Okay.
The apiary.
Where is this, Will?
Franklin Park Conservatory.
Oh, okay. This weekend.
Yep, Saturday, 11 to 3.
Anyone have any more questions? Anything they want to share? Thank you,
I want to
Katie.
thank you all for keeping us in touch and also for all the work you did to get the Constitution redone. It's so much nicer.
Claudia and I and everyone else that was on the committee say thank you.
Yes.
I'm in a Zoom meeting. It's almost over. I'll call you back shortly. Bye.
And so grateful that it passed.
Yes.
I remember the last time we went over the Constitution back in 2012, and it was at the breakfast meeting in May, and the whole thing was read really fast, just to get it through. By doing it this way with 3 months of it showing up in the newsletter, people had a chance to take their time to read it and decide. I'm grateful to those who did that, took their time and read it and thought about it. And thank you again for passing it.
Hearing no objections, I think we're going to call this meeting to a close.
Sounds fine with me.
With luck, we'll see each other next month at Franklin Park Conservatory. Hopefully we'll have news about that soon, and we'll transmit it and share it with everybody. Good meeting. Thank you, Penelope, for the work you've done on it and for the students. And thanks everybody for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Well, good
Thanks,
night.
Winnie.
You're
Good night,
welcome.
everybody.
Take care, everyone. You're welcome, Randy.
Night, Winnie.
Yes.
Just saying good night.
Good night. I believe you're recording.
I
Bye,
am.
all.
Hey,
Bye,
Barb.
Barb. So you can, if you're recording, you can stop it. Thank you so much, Doug. I really appreciate your